Some of the most amazing stories aren't in books or movies. They're actually hidden in plain sight, right inside a company's financial reports. So today, we're going to do just that. We're going to unpack the incredible 4-year transformation of a major financial player, and we're going to let the numbers do all the talking.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The first thing you'll notice, the most obvious change, is the name. Back in 2020, this company was known as IFLWAM. Fast forward to today, and they're 361 WAM Limited. Now you have to ask, is this just a fresh coat of paint, a simple rebrand, or does this new name point to something much, much bigger happening under the hood?
And that's the big question for our explainer today, isn't it? We're going to peel back the layers of their financial statements from these two different points in time, and we're going to see what really changed beyond just the logo on their website. All right, just a quick heads up before we get into the nitty-gritty. To make sure we're comparing apples to apples here, we've standardized all the financial figures you're about to see into crores of Indian rupees. It just makes it a whole lot easier to really see the scale of the changes we're talking about. So let's hit the rewind button. We're going all the way back to early 2020 to set our baseline. What did this company actually look like just 4 short years ago? Let's find out. So what's really interesting here is just how straightforward this looks. In early 2020, we're looking at a solid business. Total income was sitting just under 97 crores. Expenses were around 40 crores, and that left them with a pretty respectable profit of nearly 43 crores for that quarter. All in all, a healthy, stable picture. And this slide is a huge clue. If you look at their official filings back then, their entire business was described under one segment: distribution fees. Basically, this means their main gig was earning commissions by selling financial products. Now hang on to that phrase, distribution fees. It is a critical piece of this puzzle. Okay, now let's jump forward to today. We've got our 2020 baseline locked in. So what does this company look like now after 4 years of big changes, a brand new name, and a totally different market environment? All right, so let's just lock that number in our heads one more time. Back in the first quarter of 2020, the company pulled in a profit of 43 crores. It's a solid number for sure, but maybe not world-changing. Just keep it in mind. And here it is. This is the big reveal. In their most recent quarterly report, that same profit figure, well, it wasn't 43 crores anymore. It was 158 crores. I mean, that is just a massive, massive leap forward. It's one thing to hear the numbers, but seeing it visually like this, wow, the change is just staggering. This isn't just simple growth. We're talking about a genuine explosion in profitability. Putting those two bars side by side really hammers home that this company is playing in a completely different league than it was just 4 years ago. So remember their 2020 focus? Distribution fees? Well, take a look at this. In 2024, their official business description is now wealth management. And trust me, this is not just a little tweak in wording. It signals a huge, fundamental shift in their entire strategy, from a simple transactional model to something much more holistic and relationship-focused. Okay, so we've seen the what, a massive jump in profits and a big change in focus. Now for the really fun part. Let's dig into the numbers and figure out the how. How on earth did they pull off this incredible growth? This chart tells so much of the story. You see, back in 2020, a whopping 96% of their income came from those fees and commissions. They were basically a one-trick pony, a very good one, but still. Now look at 2024. Fees have dropped all the way down to just 47% of the total, while this other income category has just exploded to make up 53%. It's incredible. They successfully built entirely new and clearly very profitable ways of making money. Now, of course, with more income, you're going to have more expenses. That's just business. And we can see here their total expenses more than doubled, from about 40 crores to 91 crores. Finance costs, in particular, really jumped. But, and this is the key insight, their income grew so much faster than their costs. That points to some seriously impressive efficiency and really smart management, especially while they were growing at such a breakneck pace. And it wasn't just the profit and loss statement that looked different, the whole company got bigger. I mean, the total assets on their balance sheet swelled from around 2,500 crores to over 4,400 crores. This tells us they weren't just getting better at making money. They were building a much larger, more powerful financial institution from the ground up. All right, so let's tie this all together. What is the real story that these numbers have been whispering, or maybe shouting, at us?
What are the big takeaways from this incredible 4-year financial journey?
So here's the story in a nutshell. That name change to 360 ONE, it wasn't just for show. It was a clear signal of a major strategic pivot. And that pivot led you some absolutely undeniable results. I mean, a quarterly profit spike of over 260%. They pulled this off by evolving their whole business model, moving from just distribution fees to full-blown wealth management. And maybe most importantly, brilliantly diversifying their income, which made their whole operation so much more resilient. And, this whole exercise really shows you why digging into data is so powerful. These financial reports, they aren't just dry, boring records of the past. If you know how to read between the lines, they become a narrative, a story of strategy, of execution, and of ambition. They give you this incredible window into where a company has been, and even more excitingly, where it might be headed next.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. We've just traced the amazing story of 360 ONE's transformation, all through its numbers. But here's the thing about financial stories. They never really end. The data is going to keep coming quarter after quarter. So the big question now is, what will the next chapter of this company's financial story look like? Well, the numbers will tell us soon enough.